All right, welcome all who are joining. We are giving it a couple of minutes and then we can kick off with our open day. All right. All right, welcome all. We'll give it 2 minutes and then we will kick off. All right. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon for the East Africa Virtual Open Day. Just being mindful of the time. We'll kick off and the rest will join us as we move along. I know we have attendees from various countries in East Africa, so you could just type your name in the chat box and just let us know where you are tuning in or logging in from. So we will start our webinar today, and also just a bit of house rules. If you have any questions, please feel free to use a Q&A box, and then we will have team members respond to you. We have the admissions team here with us today, and then also we have the team that supports the East African market as well. So please feel free to put in your questions as we move along, and we'll respond to them at the end of the session today. It's great to see we have Tanzania represented, we have Kenya represented, we have Zimbabwe in the house as well. So yeah, please let us know where you are joining us from. So by way of introduction, my name is Lydia Karingithi, and I manage partnerships for Nexford in East Africa. And basically what my role entails is to source, lead, and manage strategic partnerships that are driving our entry into the East African market. And so I will be the one who will be moderating our session, and we look forward to a wonderful afternoon with you. So as you will see, this is the agenda of the day. Basically, we will let you all know who Nexford is and what we are all about. And then we will have my wonderful teammate from the admissions team, Sandra, speak to us about the admission process and requirements. And then we have my lovely teammate just giving us a virtual tour on what it is to study at NXU. And thereafter, we will have a quick Q&A on NXU, and then we will introduce the topic of the day. And we have Loise Macharia from WYLDE International, who will be speaking to us about entrepreneurship and innovation. And then thereafter, we'll have a Q&A with Loise for anyone who might have any questions regarding the topic that we'll be sharing today. So without further ado, we will get started. And the biggest question I know is, I know we have a couple of people on the call who've heard about Nexford, and others probably this is your initial interaction with us. But ideally at Nexford, our focus is to bridge the gap between what industry needs and what higher education is providing, and to do that in an affordable way. And what we've done is that we provide a platform that allows learners to get education that they need in order to access the global grid. And The global grid here in this sense is a virtual or the remote job market all across the world. And what we do is we equip people with skills they need so they can access the global market regardless of their gender, their location, their race, or any socioeconomic factors or background. And that is how we aim to fight unemployment in Africa. So we have built an innovative learning model, and we leverage technology to deliver learning, and our university is 100% online. And we are therefore built for anybody anywhere in the world that is looking to gain in-demand skills while earning globally recognized credentials. We are headquartered in Washington, D.C., and that is where we are also accredited. And our model is a competency-based learning model. And this means that we focus on ensuring that learners can demonstrate mastery of skills throughout the course or the programs they're actually taking. And so we work backwards with industry to first understand what are the skill shortages, what are the talent gaps that exist, and then we create programs that then are aimed to solve for those particular gaps. And by joining Nexford, and the beauty of being online is then you get to interact with learners from across the globe. And we currently have over 10,000 learners from 110 plus countries. So that really just enriches your experience by interacting with peers who are exposed to different demographics as you continue with your learning. So as I mentioned, we are online, and therefore the beauty of that is you get to flex your learning around your schedule. So whether you're running a business, whether you are employed, whether you are pursuing your passion, we are the right people for you if you are looking to skill yourself while at it. And so we have a running joke that we say in every given year, somebody has 12 times or 12 opportunities to actually begin learning. And this is because we have programs running at the first of every month. So all you need to do is to enroll by the 28th of the subsequent month. And that means applying for your study and paying for your first month's tuition, and then you can start your program at the first of the subsequent month. You have the opportunity to pay your tuition in USD or local currency. So this could be depending on which country you are in. We do have mechanisms that allow for that. And so the beauty of the university that we have built, the new modern learning experience, is that you're able to access high quality education compared to traditional universities, but at a fraction of that cost. And so we are really, really proud of the innovative model that we have built. And lastly, something that is very close to me because I'm also a learner is a personalized support that we offer our community. So we know that, we are transitioning, we're having people transition from a model where they're used to in-person physical learning. And therefore what we have is we have coaches or success advisors who are there to guide you throughout your academic or learning journey at Nexford. And what this does is that it really sets you up for success because you're really able to understand, and if you need support on how to balance your studying and other things in your schedule of, say, for instance, and I know Maya will speak to this when she's doing the virtual tour, you need support, reaching faculty, or you're having any technical issues, the coaches and the success advisors are there to help you with it. And there's something and a slogan that we use where we say online does not mean alone. So yes, we are online, we leverage technology, but it doesn't mean that we leave you to fend for yourself. We're there to support you and to work with you every step of the way. All right. So this is something we really wanted to mention just to highlight the importance of the work that we are doing in the region. And like I mentioned, we are really keen to ensure that we are actually solving for actual skill gaps in the market. And an example of a study we did recently with the Federation of Kenya Employers is we were able to do a skill study with over 500 members of the FKE. And the aim here was to identify what are the skill gaps that exist within these enterprises. Because a mandate of the Federation of Kenya Employers, which is an employer lobbying body, is to ensure that their members are current when it comes to skilling of their employees. And so, once we did this study, which we launched towards the last quarter of last year, we identified what the gaps were. And the whole idea or objective here is to then curate programs that FKE can cascade to their enterprises to support them to close for those gaps. We are currently having conversations in Uganda to address the same, with the foundation, and also Tanzania as well, and other markets, because we are really keen to ensure that individuals can future-proof, their careers, and also organizations can really future-proof their workforce for the workforce of the future. So after that, I will quickly jump into our programs, just to highlight the programs that we run before Sandra can come in and speak to the admission requirements. So we have 4 degree programs. We have our MBA, our Masters of Business Administration, with specializations that you can see listed therein. And as you can see, when we're talking about in-demand skills, all our specializations are really aligned to the skills that will be needed for the future of work. And so you can take your MBA, but choose a specialization that is in your area of interest, with how you foresee your career trajectory. And so you can do the MBA on its own as a standalone, or you can take with either of the specializations listed there. We also have the Masters of Science in Digital Transformation. And this is anybody who is, looking to understand the impact of digital disruption in the economy as it is right now. And so that is our other master's program, followed by the Masters of Science in Data Analytics, and our newest baby, which is the MSc, which is the Master of Science in Entrepreneurship. Then we do have one BBA program, and that's a Bachelor of Business Administration, but listed with the specializations below, again, really focused on the future of work. So you can do your BBA as a standalone program, or you can do to the specializations that are listed therein. And probably of importance to mention is, for our MBA programs, the average completion time is 18 months. However, remember we said that you get to flex your learning around your schedule. And therefore, we appreciate that people have different capacity and capability when it comes to how they grasp their education. And therefore, if you maintain the required GPA or grade for your program, and you're also demonstrating that, the mastery of skill, then you can actually get to accelerate your learning path. And this means that, you're able to finish faster, you're able to save more money, and you're able to graduate quickly. And then we have the bachelor's, as I mentioned, the average completion time is 48 months, but then again, you can dictate your learning path depending on how you are progressing along in your program. Then other than our degree programs, we also have short courses and certificates. And these ones, the durations are listed therein. So these are for anybody who is looking to get cross-functional skills within their line of work, or anybody who's looking to upskill or reskill. You can then select a certificate or a course from a long list of certificates and courses that we have. And if you go to our website, what we have done is we have taken the time to break down these courses, the certificates, to showcase and indicate what the modules will be about, what you will be learning about, what the output will be, the average completion time you require. So if you're not very sure what course certificate you'd like to do, I'd like to propose that you go to the website, and they're all listed comprehensively. And also, if you do get in touch with us, we will be able to assign an application specialist to you who can be able to guide you on the right program for you based on your career goals and based on what you are looking to achieve. So at this point, I will then call upon Sandra to take us through Nexford's admission requirements. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you, Lydia. So once again, my name is Sandra. I'm the manager for admissions and registrar. Joining with me from the admissions team is Therese. She's one of our admission officers. So for the admission requirements, there are four major admission requirements apart from the application fee, which are a digital copy of your government issued ID, your passport style photo, a proof of graduation, and the evidence of English language proficiency. For the government IDs, acceptable IDs must have your full name, your date of birth, an ID photo, and if it has an expiry date, it must be valid upon submission. So let's say acceptable IDs would be passports, your national IDs, voters cards, or driver's license. For the passport style photo, it must be professional looking and clear, as this will be verified against your government ID as identification verification. Third would be the proof of graduation. So we're asking this for undergraduate level applicants and graduate level applicants. For undergraduate level, it covers for the certificates and our BBA and AAS programs. All of the East African countries have national examinations, and we require that you submit your national examination result. I see here that a lot are coming from Kenya. Some are from Tanzania, and I see one from Zimbabwe. Just to give you a rundown of what we are looking for, just so you are aware, for Tanzania, we're looking for your certificate of secondary education and advanced certificate of secondary education. For Kenya, that's the KCSE. For Uganda, we need your Uganda certificate of education and Uganda advanced certificate of education. For Rwanda, that's the RACE, or Rwanda Advanced Certificate of Education. And for Zimbabwe, that's GCE, O level, and A level. So there are specific minimum requirements for each national examination result, and our admission officers will be reviewing this. If you meet the minimum requirement, then you will be accepted to the undergraduate program or certificate you're applying for. There are other applicants, undergraduate applicants, who have underwent or have taken IGCSE because they followed an international curriculum, or the GED. This is GED test, or General Education Development Test. For those who have taken IGCSE, the requirement is for you to have a C grade in five subjects, including mathematics and English. For GED, you must have a 145 score on all four content modules. There are times that we have applicants, undergraduate applicants, who hold a diploma award. So if you wanted to apply for transfer credit, you may do so for our degree programs. That's for the Associate of Science in Business and the Bachelor of Business Administration. Our registrar's office will be happy to review your transcripts, and we would be able to transfer your courses from the diploma award to our undergraduate degree programs. At the graduate level, the minimum requirement is for you to submit a copy of your bachelor's degree certificate or a transcript. If you have a higher credential, then that's good. For the proof of English language proficiency, we use electronic databases for us to verify the language of instruction of most of the universities around the globe, and also for what is used in your specific education level, like for example, for secondary or tertiary level on specific countries. So if we are able to verify this in our electronic databases, we can waive this requirement for you. However, if we're unable to do that, you must submit and satisfy this requirement. And the application fee, that's $25. We do have program specific requirements for our master's degree programs. For the MBA applicants, for you to be accepted directly to the MBA program, you must have a degree in business or business related. Otherwise, you are required to take a foundation course. You must acquire a C or better for you to transition or for you to be enrolled into the MBA program. For the MSDA program, or the Master of Science in Data Analytics, we require that applicants must have a business-related degree with a statistics course. If you don't have one, you will be required to take 2 foundation courses, and also you must attain a C or better for you to enroll into the MSDA program. There are scenarios wherein applicants have a business-related degree, but they haven't taken a statistics course, or they have a statistics degree and they don't have any other business-related degrees attained during their prior education. So in this case, we will be reviewing that, and we can waive one of the 2 foundation courses depending on what credential you have. For the MSDT, or the Master of Science in Digital Transformation, you must have a business-related degree or an IT-related degree for you to be directly accepted to the program. If not, you will be required to take 1 foundation course and attain a C or better to transition to the MSDT program. For MSE, we don't have a program-specific requirement. Any field is okay, so as long as you have a bachelor's degree. So once you have submitted your application, this will be reviewed by our admission officers and will be providing a decision within 24 to 48 hours if there are no issues with your application. We're happy to assist you in your application journey. Our Nexford application specialist will be happy to give you a walkthrough of the application process, and once you're given a decision, the enrollment journey as well. So if you have any questions, our email address is admissions@nexford.org. All right. Thank you, Lydia. I think I will be handing it over to Mike.
Yes, thank you so much, Sandra. Hi, everyone. My name is Mai, and I'm a Senior Nexford Application Specialist. I'm happy to be on the call today with our lovely people at Nexford. I will be sharing with everybody right now a little more about the learning experience at Nexford by also sharing my screen and showing you the online learning platform. Right. Just with a show of hands, I would love for our attendees to just confirm that they can see my screen right now. All right. Thank you so much, Flora. Who else? Okay. Kevin, Emily, Maureen, thank you so much for confirming. Okay, I will assume that everybody can see my screen right now. And so what everyone is currently looking at is the homepage of our online learning platform at Nexford. So this is the main dashboard. You will get access to the online platform once you complete your enrollment at Nexford. So the learning management system that we use at Nexford is called Canvas. It's very user-friendly. I hope I could get the chance today to show you more about its very user-friendly features and how easy it is to navigate through the online platform. It's important to note that you do need a PC or a laptop to be able to access our programs at Nexford. It's much easier to do your studying there. And if you are enrolled in a degree program, it is in fact also required because there are proctored assessments at the beginning, middle, and end of your degree program at Nexford. Having said that, there is a mobile application called Canvas Student. Everybody's welcome to download this, but you would also not be able to access the online platform until you complete your application and enrollment at Nexford and get your login credentials. So this is how that looks like. You don't have to be an Android user to use this. You can also download it on an iPhone, for example. And it's very user-friendly. It's functional in that you can access your courses, you can study on the go, you can check your assignments, your grades, and you can even communicate with fellow learners or your professor. So back to the desktop version here. This is, like I said, the dashboard of our learning platform at Nexford. These boxes right in front of you represent either the courses that you are enrolled in or a resource you always have access to, such as the writing lab. So let's start with the NXU orientation. NXU here standing for Nexford University. And the orientation course is your welcome package once you get enrolled at Nexford. It's a short course of only 4 modules. It can take you as little as 30 minutes to complete. You're not being graded for this, but you are required to complete the NXU orientation before you start your official program at Nexford. It's going to give you everything you need to know about the online platform, how to navigate through it, how to use the different features, features, how to have full control over all of your settings and everything. And you're going to learn so much more about the learning experience as well as the university policies and how to reach out for assistance. So if I jump to the module section here, like I said, it only has 4 modules. You'll see module 1 through 4. Whereas if I were to show you an example of one of our courses, our standard courses in our degree programs, for example, Roadmap to Success is one of the BBA degree programs, one of the Bachelor of Business Administration courses, rather. You'll see even the table of contents over here is different than this. And if we go to the modules, you'll see that a standard course at Nexford has 6 modules you need to complete, as well as a final project. So this is just an example of it. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see here module 6, right? And then the final project. So this is much shorter, only 4 modules and a conclusion. I would love to jump into the introduction part of module 1 for the NXU orientation for everybody to have more of an idea. Right from the beginning, everybody gets a welcome video from our founder and our CEO, Fadil Tarzi, where he tells everybody a bit more about Nexford University and Nexford's mission and how we got started. So I'd love to play this for everybody just for a few seconds.
It's been said that the future is a convenient place for dreams, so why not dream big? I've always known education changes lives, but I first realized its impact over a decade ago. On my entrepreneurial journey, I saw a gap between the skills of college graduates and the needs of employers. With my own startups, I struggled to find people with the right competencies. For example, I couldn't find a software engineer with effective communication skills. I couldn't find the creative designers who could plan. I thought to myself, is this why unemployment stats of college graduates grab so many media headlines? And it's not our graduates' fault. Burdened by heavy debt, cohorts of learners walk away from university unprepared for the workplace. That's why I set out to create a university for you, one that I'm convinced has the potential to positively impact lives as well as millions worldwide. I'm Fadil Al-Tarzi, and I can proudly say that I'm the founder and CEO of Nexford University.
All right, guys, that is just a sneak peek for you. Hopefully you can watch it in its entirety once you complete your enrollment at Nexford and access the orientation. But I do hope this gives everybody a bit of an idea about Nexford as well as our mission. You'll see that every video within your courses, such as this one, there is a written transcript that you can click on to download, which can be super useful and beneficial for the courses that you're studying. And this video right here is a small example of the different and dynamic elements through which you're going to be doing your studying at Nexford. So it's not just a lot of text. We don't want our learners falling asleep. You'll see that there are videos like that. There are embedded audio clips. There's a mix of a lot of different, and dynamic media. So you'll see a mix of videos, downloadable resources, interactive exercises. There's always something to keep you engaged. And then here, right from the beginning, we really encourage all our learners to join WhatsApp study groups. It's very useful to have a study buddy from the beginning of your program. And since we have learners from more than 110 countries today, this means that you can join a WhatsApp group that's either country-specific, program-specific, or intake-specific. And if you do not find a WhatsApp group to your liking, you can always get connected with our learner success team and start your own WhatsApp group and share it with other learners. We also have peer mentors at Nexford that you can get connected with. They are current Nexford learners that are dedicated to making you feel welcome and to help you get settled in the new learning platform in Canvas. You can even be a peer mentor yourself if you like a little later on. But if you do want to get connected with a peer mentor to assist you through your, the beginning of your program and so on, you can just get connected with our success team. As you progress through the orientation, we encourage learners to introduce themselves to the Nexford community. There are discussion forums that are embedded in every course at Nexford. The topics would, of course, be related to the course that you're studying at the time. But for the orientation course here, the prompt you're being given is to just introduce yourself to the community, tell everybody a bit more about yourself if you like. Some people tend to share a photo or perhaps a link to their LinkedIn profile. Since I am, of course, not a Nexford learner, this is just a demo view of the online platform. You'll see that the topic is closed here for comments, but you should be able to see at the bottom here, once you're taking the orientation, all the comments from the different learners, and you can respond to each other, you can interact and engage. Right, and as we progress, here you'll finally learn more about the important policies and resources at Nexford. You'll get access to the Nexford University knowledge base, the Learner Success Resource Center, for example, and get all the tips you need for learner success. You'll learn all about grading and deadlines and so on. And here, you'll also learn how to navigate through Canvas and receive help. So if you just check the dashboard area here, we even have a preview here of how you can navigate through the dashboard, how you can access your courses and what they mean. The left side navigation pane, I will go through that shortly as well. And you'll have full control over your notifications and your settings in your account area. And then finally, receiving help. So you must have heard us say success team or learner success team. They're comprised of success advisors whose main role is to help you get, to succeed at Nexford, right? So it's literally in their title. They serve as your mentor throughout your program. You can reach out to a success advisor 24/7, and that is because we have success advisors posted around the world and around the clock, so they can assist you, whether it's through WhatsApp, or you can schedule a call with them, or you can send them an email. And it can be with anything related to learning experience. Perhaps you need to reach out to your professor. Perhaps you are struggling with an assignment submission, for example, or simply, you have just some questions about the online platform, or you want to accelerate your program, or you want to join a WhatsApp group. So our success advisors are also there to help you with goal setting and meeting your goals. So this is just a sneak peek of the NXU orientation, which, like I mentioned, is something you need to complete before you start your first course at Nexford. So I want to talk about other features here in the online platform. Like I said, this is the left side navigation pane, and it follows you no matter where you go in the online platform. Just give you an overview of the courses that you're currently enrolled in. History is just useful when you're studying at Nexford and you want to navigate between different pages or different, modules or different sections. And then the calendar here, you'll see that you get assignments automatically added to your calendar depending on the courses that you are enrolled in, and they are color-coded, which is something you can control from the main dashboard here. Just some fun features on Canvas. You can select different colors. If that helps you, you can do a color overlay if that helps you get organized, as well as in your calendar, and this way you never miss out on any important reminders. But you can also click anywhere and add your own event or add your own to-do item. If you click on more options, you can add more details to that event in your calendar. And this can be synchronized with your PC or your laptop or your mobile phone. So that way you never miss out on anything important. And then an inbox here, that is one of the easiest ways you can communicate with anybody in the global learner community, just by clicking on compose a new message here. Select a course that you are currently enrolled in, let's say Roadmap to Success. And do you want to speak with a teacher or a student? You should be given the option to speak with a teacher here, but as this is a demo account, and like I mentioned, I'm not currently an expert learner, there are some limitations here, but let's say you want to speak with a student. I'm being just given the option to choose myself here. Put in your subject, put in your message, and send, and it is that easy. You can, of course, use the inbox feature also on the mobile application. And then here, earlier I mentioned these boxes represent courses you are enrolled in or a resource you always have access to, such as the Writing Lab. So what is the Writing Lab? I want to tell you more about that. So we know that not everybody is a natural born writer. And for the types of assignments you're going to be required to do at Nexford, there may be types of formatting you haven't used before. This is going to help you with your academic writing. It's going to help you with your grammar and so much more. So just go to the modules area here. You'll see some papers and some videos that cover a style guide. They cover, you'll be able to master the latest techniques for ethical AI use and research, research and content creation. So this way you make sure your assignments always shine. You'll see here tips on English grammar and mechanics. Like I said, some of these are videos, some of them are papers, paragraph structure and organization, and so much more. So there's a lot of information here for you that will be really, really useful. And again, if it still doesn't answer the question that you have, you can always reach out to a success advisor. So that is the writing lab. You'll always have access to that. Other things you'll have access to at the next throughout your program is also the NXU library. So the NXU library is a robust library of over 60 million resources that covers so many different topics. Let me show it to you here. So we can jump to a specific group, but I'd like to scroll through some of them for you to show you that you'll be able to access this throughout your whole program. You can explore this extensive online library, which is, like I said, packed with thousands of databases, articles, and publications. You'll see ebooks, you'll see articles, blogs, and so much more. That is just one of the many features you have access to. There is, of course, also LinkedIn Learning. So if you haven't heard of LinkedIn Learning, it is in fact connected with LinkedIn. And as a Nexford learner, you get free and unlimited access to LinkedIn Learning, 16,000 plus courses and videos. Normally, you need a paid subscription, but this is included in your cost already as a Nexford learner. It's going to allow you to sharpen your skills and boost your resume and accelerate your career growth. The great thing is that some of these could be 5 minutes, some of them could be courses that go on for 4 hours, but upon completion of any LinkedIn Learning course, you do receive a certificate of completion, which you can add to your CV or your resume. You can post it in your profile here. You know, it's a great way to show your current employer or your future employer that you're learning additional skills. You're not just waiting to complete your Nexford program, and you're able to apply these skills right away. And the great thing is it does not have to be related to what you're studying at Nexford. Perhaps you have enrolled in something related to AI or data analytics, and next to that, you're actually interested in marketing, then you can take something related to marketing on LinkedIn Learning. You'll also find that there are LinkedIn Learning courses embedded in some of your modules at Nexford. So that way, you can also take LinkedIn Learning courses that are in fact related to what you're studying at Nexford. So that is just one of our many career services at Nexford. Anybody can go to nexford.edu/career to learn more about our different career services and how we can help you develop your skills, whether in your current career or your future goal. I've already gone through LinkedIn Learning. The great thing is that if you're also based in Africa, then you get access to IBM Digital Nation Africa, or IBM DNA for short. And this is for those that are more interested in AI, programming, cybersecurity, and technology. And then we also have Forage. So Forage is already a free resource, but we also partnered up with them so you can get access to Forage job simulations. So people can go to theforage.com/simulations to learn more about this as well. This is also included in your NXU program. These immersive experiences let you practice real-world skills and build your confidence, giving you a competitive edge in the job market, and you'll be ready to unlock your potential and hopefully achieve your goals. You'll see that these are job simulations at real companies like JP Morgan and Accenture. And you can choose to share your task submissions with recruiters, which can lead to interview opportunities for internships. This is just one of many career services, like I mentioned. Any learner at Nexford can retain their access to this, whether it be full access to their courses, their whole program at Nexford, to revisit that at any time. It can be the NXU library that I showcased earlier, LinkedIn Learning, of course, IBM Digital Nation Africa, and also every Nexford learner gets a Microsoft 365 license. Once you graduate from Nexford, you can choose to sign up to Alumni Access to retain access to all of these features. So of course, there's so much to unravel in the online platform, but I hope this gave everybody a bit more of an idea of the different features. And of course, if you have any questions around anything that I've covered so far, please feel free to ask. And I know me and my team will get to questions towards the end of the webinar. So I'd love to pass this on now back to Lydia.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mai, for that. And just to remind everybody, if you do have any questions, please feel free to send them to the Q&A box. Our team will respond to you as we move along. I know I'm seeing a couple of hands up. Kindly, you can use the box and we will be happy to respond to you. I'm happy to give it a minute or two. I know there's some that were up there, but they have been responded to by the team. All right, let me see if I can be able to. Are there any hands? Oh no, the hands that were up have gone down. All right, so I have Ebuela.
Hello, hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to. I'm well known as Zebel Bushiri. I'm coming from Tanzania.
All right.
Yeah, I'm youth refugee.
Okay.
And also youth advocate for young people lived in Nyagus Camp.
Okay.
I wanna ask you one question about how did you take in consideration youth refugee, because we want to achieve our career, education career, but due to financial issues, we are unable to get more opportunity in order to achieve our education goals.
Okay. All right.
How can you help us with such kind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Ebuela. So we do have and we do offer partial scholarships, and these are offered regularly. So I would advise you to go to our website. I'll put it on the chat box, nexford.edu/stroke scholarships, and you can be able to see which ones are available and whether you would be eligible. We also do have a WhatsApp number as well, or you can send us an email at help@nexford.org. I'll put those details on the chat box. And you can be able to speak to an application specialist who can be able to guide you through that. All right, Ian?
Yes, thank you so much, Lydia. As stated, my name is Ian Simba from Nairobi, Kenya. And my question is, looking at your website, I see you have a physical address in Washington. Is it possible that you offer, in case one wants to visit, is it possible that you offer student passes?
So to visit the US or?
I would coming also.
Sorry, Ian, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. Yes, to visit the US and coming in with a student pass from Nexford. Do you offer student passes?
All right, Sandra, would you like to take that?
So sorry, lady. I was typing an answer for another.
No worries.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes.
Yes, I could, Sandra. So my question is, I see you have a physical address in Washington. So if I would like to visit, will I be offered a student pass by Nexford?
Oh, no. So we don't really assist learners for the student visa, and we don't really open the headquarters for learners or applicants visiting the headquarters, because basically this is an office space, a working space, and not really a campus. So unfortunately, right now we cannot welcome visitors or learners visiting the working space.
So does that mean, Sandra, that also the graduation everything is virtual, including the graduation?
We have plans and we have already had a ceremony in US, a graduation ceremony, and right now we have plans on conducting a graduation ceremony in the US in 2025, but it's not yet a final. We don't have a final date, but basically we do conduct the ceremony physically for US, and we have one in Nigeria. Lydia, do you have any news for East Africa as of the moment?
Yeah, at the moment, no, but of course, like Sandra mentioned, really, we are driven by numbers, and we've been seeing growth, month on month for the East African market. And so when we do have numbers, I definitely know it's something we will consider for East Africa as well. So at the moment, it would be would be able to probably do the US graduation of the Nigerian one, but also as Ian, sorry, even if you do graduate, say in 2024, and you're able to make it for graduation at a later time, you would still be welcome to graduate and be part of the graduation ceremony. So it doesn't mean that you will not get your diploma. It doesn't mean you will not get your transcripts. Yeah, so that opportunity will be open if you would still like to graduate.
Thank you so much, Lydia.
All right. Okay, great. Let me see if there are other hands. We have Shadrach as well. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shadrach.
My name is Shadrach. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. I was just concerned about, thank you so much for the initiative for studying learning. For studying online. But my request, my ample request is even as your numbers grow here locally, do you have plans of having like a physical presence? I have studied in one of the institutions here in Kenya. We do boot camps, but we also have locally, we have hubs whereby learners can meet and collaborate. Because at times learning digitally can be quite difficult, especially when you don't have a moral support. So the institution established hubs whereby people can meet, collaborate, and practice these skills real time. Because while learning online is good, especially for those people who are working, but it has got also its own limitations. And now that you have an office here in Kenya, do you have plans maybe to have like a satellite campus, or maybe a space whereby people can meet maybe once in a week to just collaborate on projects and such, so that it will even help them practice the skills that they are learning? Another thing is about the cost. Can you put into consideration that some of the people who maybe want to study with Nexford may not really afford the monthly fee? And is there a way maybe you can have a constant school fees? Maybe I know this is what I'm gonna pay for a year, like it doesn't change every month, and it's not like dollar denominated. We had an issue whereby the dollar was 160 shillings, now is around 130. And knowing the purchasing parity of Africans, that would be quite tricky, especially for those people who are in Africa. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Shadrach. So I'll speak to the community space that we have. I know Sandra will talk about why we cannot have satellite campuses, but we do have, and you are aware, like I've heard you mention, that we do have a space here. And the space that we have is a community space for our learners and our alumni. We use that space to bring people together for thought leadership, for networking and interaction. And in instances where someone also would love to use that space for study groups or for studying, we are able to facilitate that. But as mentioned, we are purely online, and our accreditation would not allow us to have satellite campuses, but we do have that space and we use it for our community. So anybody who would want to have access to it is open, and we have a team that can support you with that. In terms of the the tuition fee, that does not change. So ideally, the monthly option is it's an option. It's an option that you can actually take, but we do have the fixed price per month that you pay for the program. And if you want to get a sense on what you'll pay for the duration of the program, you multiply by the number of months. And so no one is stopping you from paying that either quarterly or biannually. It's really where your preference lies. We do understand the challenge that we had before on the dollar and sometimes how that can fluctuate, but we are also in conversations with local banks or financial service providers to be able to see how we can be able to lock that down, especially when we get to a point where it's very erratic. And so that is something we're definitely working on. Sandra, anything you'd like to add on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what you have said regarding the satellite campuses. This is something that we have to adhere on an accreditation perspective, as we have claimed that we are based in the US. Therefore, our office must be maintained in the US. In the event that we wanted to add offices or operate physically in other countries, that has to be that has to undergo a site visit as well. At the moment, we don't have plans, but since we are operating purely online. Additionally, for the tuition, I would like to add as well, if you wanted to lock in the exchange rate, because the exchange rates vary monthly, we suggest, but the USD amount doesn't change. So we suggest that if you want, you can lock in that amount if you would be paying in advance. So let's say, because we do have payment plans, usually it's monthly, but learners can actually pay every 2 months or every 6 months. If you want to pay a 1 year in advance, that's okay, because it will already be reflected in our payment system, and it will just be reallocated or allocated in the future invoices as long as you're enrolled in Nexford. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. I know we have a couple of hands raised. So what I'll do is we will have the Q&A until 4 p.m. Kindly let's utilize the box. But once we are done with Loise's presentation, once again, we'll be able to open this up. So Joshua, I can see you have a question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lydia. A quick one is on the basis of your 15 to 20 hours per month. I just wanted to know the breakdown, whether that can be 20 hours, 30 hours, depending on the affordability of the student. Number two, if you could break down in a palatable way, MBA as a standalone, and then MBA with a specialization. For example, MBA sustainability. So the two, you do a quick break, but I want it to be a bit more palatable. And again, if you do that, then ask, my question is, when I take the specialization, how many modules are in the specialization? And I've given you an example being sustainability. And then again, how many modules are in the other one? Again, especially now where you have said standalone. Understood what you mean by $300 per month, 18 months being your maximum. Again, how you arrived at your 5,400, and again, the variation of the dollar, again, dependent on the local jurisdiction. Again, that is beyond our control. Yeah. But then again, I needed to get that bit clearly. Then I know, what do you mean, how many modules and how many can you fit in within a month or within a week, especially now within your basis of the 15 to 20 hours. Over to you.
All right. Sandra?
All right, so for the question regarding the 20 hours, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to dedicate 20 hours, or it depends on your pace. We have what we call the flexible start model, wherein there's no synchronous classes. All of these are asynchronous modules that you can attend to your own pace, but not necessarily a self-paced, but flexible pace, because we have due dates. So it depends on you when you want to study, when you want to dedicate your time in attending to your assignments, as long as you met the due dates. In terms of specializations, the MBA courses, we have a total of 12 courses in the MBA program. 9 of those are core courses, and you are required to take the 9 core courses. And if you wanted to take a specialization, that would require you 3 more courses, because there is a requirement of 12 courses for you to complete the MBA program. If you opted out from the specialization, you have to take 3 elective courses under the MBA program. So it's either you have a specialization or not. If you opted out from the specialization, you can choose any of the 3 elective courses that we offer under the MBA program.
Yeah.
Let
Thanks,
me know if anything else that you have any clarifications on.
There's a question I know he asked on the maximum duration time. So we say the average
yeah.
time. Yeah, so maybe you can speak to that and what happens if someone goes beyond the 18 months.
Okay, so the standard completion time for the MBA program is 18 months. The maximum completion time is 27 months. If you reach the maximum completion time, you exceed that, we have to let you go. We have to withdraw you from the program, and you have to re-enroll, because that's what's in the agreement, and you are not fulfilling the required duration for the program to be completed. Anyway, we're not allowing learners to exceed the maximum duration, because the moment that you are not meeting the required pacing, and this happens, and this is being monitored every time you complete a course. So this the courses that you have attempted is computed against the number of courses that you have passed. And if you're not meeting the minimum percentage pacing, our learner success team will communicate with you in order for you to improve your academic standing, so that you can complete the program within the specific duration.
All right, great. Yeah, thank you, Sandra. Fantastic. So we'll take a question from Zipporah before we get to the speaker of the day, but please let's continue using the Q&A box. Our team is still on the call. They can be responding to that, and then we will resume the verbal Q&As after today's presentation. So Zipporah? Okay. I do not think she's here. Then I will pass it over to, let me see who else is here. Bernard? All right. I think Bernard is either not here as well. Agnes? All right. I don't know whether this were accidentally raised hands.
Hello?
Yes, Bernard. Okay, we hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm Bernard Nyongesa, but I'm a business person. So that my question, I need to know about the Nexford University. I started to follow up from 2023, and your consultant is help me to see well how to join, but I need to know well, because I know that when the graduation comes, you're supposed to go to United States of America at Washington, D.C. But the problem is, what if the person cannot make to go there, and then you need to graduate?
All right. Thanks, Bernard, for that. I know Sandra answered that question earlier on, and we mentioned that you do have the option of following the graduation virtually, and also we do have some regional graduation. So for example, we do hold a graduation in Nigeria, and you would be welcome to attend that. And in the future, based on the number of learners and graduates that we'll have, we are actually looking to having graduations in East Africa as well. So you are not limited by location. You can attend whichever that works. When it comes to US graduation, we will support you with your application to the embassy with all the letters that you require from the university for you to make the application. But then there are also the other options. So virtually you will have access, but also if you want to attend any in the region, you can. And even if it is a couple of years after you have graduated, the ceremony will still be open to you for when you would be able to attend it. All right, so without further ado, and thank you so much, please let's keep the questions going. I know there are a couple of hands that are raised, but I would like to introduce the topic of today and also our speaker for today's open day. Ideally, this particular topic on entrepreneurship and innovation is from one of the short courses that Nexford has. And when we are looking to hold our open day with prospective learners, or also our community of learners and alumni, we tend to ask them what are some of the topics that are exciting for them or they'd want to hear more on. And entrepreneurship is one of those. And for the program that we also have, ideally, it really, what it does is it helps you to build a framework on how, as an employee, you can have an entrepreneurial mindset and help you to navigate the complex and challenging environments that exist within the organization you work for or you run. And therefore, you're able to bring meaningful, practical, and effective change. And so for today's session, we do have with us Ms. Loise Macharia, and she's a business strategist at WYLDE International, who is actually an amazing partner that we're working with in the SME space. And Loise is a skilled professional who is dedicated to helping business founders navigate the challenging sector of entrepreneurship. She's an entrepreneur, a business strategist, and a certified business coach. And she's currently working with WYLDE International as a lead strategy consultant. She has had the privilege to work with SMEs in varying business stages from different regions and sectors. And as an entrepreneur herself, she understands the challenges and opportunities that come with building and growing a business. So her approach to entrepreneurs delivers practical insights and applications that give them the tools they need to succeed in today's competitive landscape. So I'd therefore like to introduce Loise to come and take us through the topic of the day.
Wow. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And thank you for everyone for being here. It's quite a pleasure and an honor, I must say, to share this conversation with everyone today. This is a topic that is very, very close to my heart. It's something I practice on a daily, and I'd just love for us to have more of this conversation because it does contribute a lot to the development of our businesses and organizations, or other different establishments that we have. And so it's a pleasure to be here today and to have everyone here today. So I will be sharing this presentation to just guide us through the conversation. As Lydia has mentioned, yes, my name is Loise Macharia, an entrepreneur, strategy consultant, a trainer and a business coach, and I'm also a certified project management specialist. And all this throughout my years of experience that I've gathered over the different years. So at WYLDE, as you mentioned, it's established in 2004, and it is my strategy and entrepreneurship and support institutions to also succeed in the same. We are based in Nairobi and currently around different counties in Kenya. We have 8 board members and 5 independent. And as I said, our main offering, our main solution here is strategy development, business model, and the execution support to owner managed businesses and SMEs, just seeking clarity in strategy. So we work with growing businesses and we work with medium sized businesses in strategy development, as well as business coaching. And so WYLDE also is part of Sandbox. Sandbox is a different company that uses the village formula, that a child is raised by a village. And so our child here is businesses, and seated at Sandbox, we have different experts. We have accounting experts, we have marketing experts, we have legal experts. And so WYLDE sits in as strategy experts among the about 35 experts currently that that we have. And so, as I said, this is a conversation we should have more of, and I'm glad that Nexford offers this as a short course in itself. And so in our conversation today, I have highlighted these keywords because these are the main words that you're going to use in our conversation. And a lot of these words have been described differently in different sources. And so just by a show of hand, please raise your hand if you have heard of intrapreneurship before. Please raise your hand if you've heard of intrapreneurship before. Right, great. I see about 5 of us have heard about it. And so I'll go deep into explaining each and every word that we are looking in the screen. Entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship, innovation. And let's start with entrepreneurship, because all these things like entrepreneurship come from the word entrepreneurship. And so the description of entrepreneurship that we are going to go with in this session is that it involves the practice of developing solutions and running a business venture with the primary goal of running it as a business venture is another, and generating a profit from it is also a totally different thing. You know, so we see in the market that people have developed solutions but are not able to get them to a certain level, the solution, and runs with it and makes a lot of money just through it. So entrepreneurship has the solution part as one piece, and running it and generating profit or running that solution as a business venture as another. So it's not just about waking up and generating a profit, it's all about developing solutions. And because developing solution is not that easy and it's not that obvious, an entrepreneur needs to have passion, needs to have greed. You need to have that desire to just bring ideas to life and resolve real world problems. One mistake will happen, you don't need to give up. And so just having that passion and having that greed, that desire is very relevant and very key for entrepreneurs. Just knowing what it takes. I once worked with an entrepreneur who, after the session, after going through what it would take to make the business successful, they admittedly said that they just did not have the grit. You know, they understand what it will take to make that business work, and they were glad that they actually did this before starting the business, and realized that they just don't have the grit. So on paper, everything can seem so easy, but just understanding how the different areas of entrepreneurship works will get you to understand what will it actually take for you to succeed in just resolving and establishing yourself as a proper business. And so some of the key aspects that entrepreneurship embodies is these 4 things. When I personally think about entrepreneurship, these are the 4 key things that I'm looking for. You know, opportunity mapping. can you identify an opportunity where you would come in, offer a solution, or connect the dots? So opportunity, being an entrepreneur is all about identifying opportunities, and that is not something that can actually be taught to you, like sit down, let's do it. It's something that grows into you with time. You have to practice this. You have to practice opportunity, mapping. Can you sit in a room and have a conversation and actually see an opportune moment for you to develop something, or to sell something, or to make something, or to impact in whichever way that you'd want to. An entrepreneur needs to be a forward thinker. Can you move ahead of time and observe behaviors and realize that this is what the market will futuristically need with time? Can you manage the resources that you have? And as well as, are you a risk taker? Have you measured your risk appetite? Are you willing to be the first one to, a red ocean or a blue ocean? So these four are very, very key when you're speaking about entrepreneurship. Now, let's come to entrepreneurship. As the name suggests, it's internal and entrepreneurship. So this is when an existing organization, organization integrates entrepreneur. So it's a practice, yeah. And you as a business or as an organization have to realize that you have hired professionals. Let them think, give them freedom to think, to bring out their ideas. And so it's not a one-off thing. We cannot sit and say, okay, guys, now let's practice entrepreneurship. It's something that we have to adopt even as we move along in our organization. Just having the trust in our people, having the trust in our staff that they can deliver, they are skilled enough to come up with ideas and to actually implement it. And so entrepreneurship advocates for our entrepreneurial mindset. And what is an entrepreneurial mindset? It's a way of thinking that encourages you to take initiative, embrace the challenges, and pursue opportunities for growth and innovation. Again, it's a way of thinking, meaning this is something that you have to embody. This is something that you have to it's a part of you. It's not a one-off thing. You don't wake up and say, okay, today I have an entrepreneurial mindset. It's a way of life, because opportunities come in at the least expected times. And so how are you practicing it? How do you practice having an entrepreneurial mindset? Yeah, so this is something that you get to identify based on the aspects that we spoke about: the opportunity mapping, forward thinking, resource management, risk taking. This is something that now you get to develop in you and move along with every day, practicing it every day, looking at areas of improvement. So it demands a lot for you to become an entrepreneur, and we're going to look at that. But just a research by Deloitte revealed that companies that implement entrepreneurship are 30% more likely to report growth, right? That companies that implement entrepreneurship are 30% more likely to report growth. And why is this? Because they're able to test new things, they're able to pivot new things, they're able to diversify, because it's not just one person who's now thinking about the business. If it's a CEO or a product development manager, and you have like 10 other people who are also thinking of how to make this better. You have 20 other people who are looking out to how they're going to grow the business. And so organization that does this, if you have a business, you're going to integrate entrepreneurship. And so And part of this and how you get to do this is just encouraging a mindset shift from I do what I'm told to I see opportunities to improve. Controlling, you want your space to actually, and you want you as yourself as an entrepreneur, you don't want to just do what you're told, say, Lois, today this is your task. Yes, this is my task, but what more can I do? Yeah, what is that one thing that I can continuously, an accountant, how do I make it more efficient? How do I ensure that we are also timely in the way that we are reporting? Are there things that I can actually improve in our finance department to actually see this grow or us be more efficient? If I am a business development associate or expert in my company, how do I actually go out of my way to ensure that I am not just taking on the normal, task that I'm given, but look into how else can I actually make business development as a department grow within the organization. So you as an entrepreneur you have to be curious, you have to be proactive. It calls for you to actually practice all the 4 key aspects that we spoke of being an entrepreneur. Nobody is telling you do this or do that. So how active are you? How curious are you? Are you willing to take risks? And so what are some of the benefits that you actually get when you practice entrepreneurship, when you become an entrepreneur? Just before I can even go to the benefits, by just a show of hand to know that we are together. If right now you can better understand entrepreneurship, please raise your hand. If entrepreneurship or what entrepreneurship means to you, please raise your hand if you understand it better. Yes, I see more people raising their hands, and I'm glad that we're understanding. Great, thank you for that. And so how do you benefit when you're an entrepreneur? Number one, you gain competitive advantage because you're able to foresee some of these things, some of these opportunities. Then you are better set to negotiate a better contract for yourself. You're better set to negotiate a different position for yourself. You don't have to wait, for perhaps maybe an advertisement or something like that. Whilst you're in there, you're able to show your input, you're able to show your value, in the industry that you're in. So you get ahead, and you're able to also create opportunities for your career growth, because the more you do it, the more value you bring to the company, then the more opportunities are for you to, grow in your career and in different ways. In it as yourself, you're able to develop your skill, right? There's so many things to learn. I learn every day, and there is something to learn from everyone and from everything that you do, whether good or bad. So by being an entrepreneur, you get to understand, you get to learn some of the things that if you were just seated and locked in your own zone, you wouldn't have. Because of the curiosity and because of the proactiveness, you either get to meet so many people, you get to read up so many things, you get to understand and join the dots in how majority of the things are working. And so you grow in yourself and you get even the job satisfaction from it. And lastly, we have the ownership and access to resources. Being an entrepreneur, you get access to resources that normally, or perhaps an entrepreneur is not able to get. Most of these organizations have budgets for some of the things that they want to do. And if you bring in something that is of value to the organization, then you have more access to resources and you can test out different things even perhaps if this is also in your line of work, you can test out and you can get to actually know how the market works, and not in your budget as an entrepreneur would do. Entrepreneurs are sometimes limited by either a human resource or financial resources, but being in an organization and practicing entrepreneurship, you actually get access to these resources, whether it's financial, whether it's a human resource. And so we all need to take advantage of that. Whenever you're somewhere, whenever you're in whichever organization you're in, what can you actually learn from people? What can you learn from, exploring the different financial resources that are, or rather you are privileged to? And if they're not obviously there, but you present yourself, and you're going to talk about this later, you get to showcase your business case, then these resources will be accessible to you. Great. So I'll go to describing innovation. It's not, again, our thesis of the team, but implementing something new. Because when you create and you do not implement, it remains to just be an idea. It is not an innovation. So whenever you have perhaps you have an idea, you cannot call it, I have this great innovation in mind, because innovation calls for creation and implementation, right? So without the implementation, it's just that, an idea. So with innovation, you're either creating or you're creating and implementing something new with the intent of either improving, changing the way things are done, or introducing new solution, right? So innovation requires that you be open to change, and that you are a risk taker. So here's the thing: innovation is not dependent on luck. You can say that person X was lucky that they got to innovate this, and it worked. Even some of the common, or some of the most people on earth, people like Albert Einstein, they took years to develop just one theory. Yeah, it took them about 5 to 10 years to just develop that one theory, right? They were obsessed with the idea they were obsessed by that idea, and eventually is not dependent on luck. Yeah, it's not something that just comes spontaneously. Our minds are actually built, they actually build their ideas from a unique chain of association and connection, and sometimes it actually takes a considerable amount of time. So it's and this innovation, we are not talking about big things that are going to crack the world. It could be something small in your organization. It could just be making a process efficient. It could be understanding like a new thing, or bringing in a new way of actually of how the organization does activity A or activity B. So it's not I have created electricity for the world. It's in the small things. So we have to look at innovation as something that brews, something that actually just
Can the rest of us hear Loise? Maybe someone from the Nexford team can confirm, just to check that it's not on my end.
No, she's, I can't hear her.
You can't hear, okay. All right, thank you. Let's give her a couple of seconds to see if she will come back on.
grows over time. It's changing one thing, two things about anyone else. It's about yourself showing up as an entrepreneur, and you need to ask yourself, are you ready to take ownership and lead from within? Are you in yourself a leader? So you need to be ready to take ownership. Are you ready to challenge the status quo? Are you ready to drive change by being a resourceful person in your organization? are you resilient? Because, you know, sometimes when you come up with something, it's not obvious that you're going to get a yes for it. But so how resilient are you to actually push for something and actually make it work, even after, you know, maybe a failure or something like that? So number two, you need to assess your environment and understand how things work. It's impossible to change something that you actually do not understand. So you need to actually understand your environment. You need to understand your organization. What is the goal of our organization? What is the strategy that our organization uses, right? What are some of the structures? What are the different contexts that actually shape behaviors in our organization? So you need to understand all these aspects for you to actually even, you know, pull up and bring about an innovative idea to a point of implementation. And something that I would actually want to insist on is the actual differentiation between assumption and realities. Yeah, oftentimes with our environment we have different assumptions. Say for instance, we can just assume, you know, this organization or my boss would definitely not sign in on this. Yeah, so you have made an assumption. Is it the reality? How do you actually turn an assumption into reality? Assumptions are beliefs, you know, and beliefs are ideas that we think to be true, not think to be true before taking decisions. Underlying belief and these underlying beliefs have outcomes, whether it's intentional or not intentional. So we have to be careful to understand whatever it is that we have or whatever it is that we are thinking through, is it an assumption or is it the actual reality? And what are some of those things that then we can do then to ensure that we turn assumptions into reality? So let me take us to this. Now, here are the facts about underlying beliefs. As long as it's an assumption, as long as it's an underlying belief, two things are going to happen. You're either going to make a right decision or a wrong decision. Yeah, but there is a decision that's going to be made, and it's a bargain here. So you need to make sure as an entrepreneur, whenever you're bringing something on, you actually are able to differentiate it as an assumption or a reality. Okay, so that thing, if you want to be an entrepreneur, again, I repeat, opportunity mapping, because this is the basic to look for gaps. The fact that you're able to notice inefficiencies or see emerging trends that you're able then to develop innovative solutions around. Yeah, and when I talk about innovative solution, when you are in an organization or when you are, when you're in such a structured organization, it best happens when you look at things from the customer's perspective, right? And a customer here, I don't necessarily mean someone who is paying for a particular service. You know, if you are in operations in your organization, then the staff in your organization are your customers, right? If you are in final customers, yeah, and if you're in business development, then the end user is your customer. So the name customer here, we need to demystify your customer. So customer, as I mean, as I put it here, it's not the person who is paying or signing the check. It's the person who you're working for. You're in operations. Your clients are your staff. So it's best, innovation will come best or will happen best when you understand or see it from the customer's perspective and actually understand what is it that my customer wants to achieve. Once you understand what they want to achieve and there are different constraints, then you're able to identify an opportunity for you as an entrepreneur to get in there and say, you know, my clients want this, and this is their constraints. Say, for instance, a process says or a certain procedure is, or time is their constraint. What is that thing I can do to save them more time or to make it easier, for them? All right. So fourth is building a business case. So once you have identified the opportunity that is there, and you have developed the solution, and you have already figured out the solution that you need to build up on, you need to build a business case. And what is a business case? It's a formal document presented to decision makers, providing justifications for a proposed initiative. So it's critical that you are presenting it to decision makers, not just anybody. You know, you need to ask yourself when you're presenting this business case, is this person the last person to make, you know, the decision? Do they call the shots, right? You don't want to just present it to everyone and say, you know, that it's just not work, right? And you, a great business case will align with the organization's goals. It will have a return on investment, such that myself seated there as a decision maker, I'll see, okay, perhaps this was not in our strategy or in our plan, but I see the value for it. And so we can allocate a certain amount of resources to it, whether it is in human capacity or financial resources or any other kind of resources. So you need to build a business case, and not from an emotional, perspective, but rather you want to make it determined or data driven. Yeah, you want to present facts. You want to present facts to it. Then lastly, you want to do prepare a presentation, and this is a compelling pitch that leverages on data-driven insights, and that will ensure that you actually secure buy-in from the decision makers. So this is to mean before you can actually even present something, and before you can even go and say, you know, I have a great innovation, or I have a great idea that perhaps you could get into, you need to ask yourself, is my pitch compelling enough? You know, and look at it from a decision maker's perspective. You know, you sit there and listening to it. Would you actually buy into it? Would you actually you know, exploit and give it time of day? So you need to make that presentation without you thinking about yourself, the organization going to grow just based on this. All right, great. So lastly, execute.
Right. All right. So I think we're still having a challenge with with Loise. So before she logs back on, if there are any questions, because I know we had set to finish the webinar at 4:45. If there are any burning questions that anybody wanted to ask, we can still respond to those while we still have the team. We have Therese in the call from the admissions team to support. We have Maya and myself and Roberta as well. So feel free to, yes, to ask those questions. So a couple of hands that are up. I don't know whether they're up because I know the Loise had asked people to raise their hands up if they're together, but I'll just quickly run through in case anybody has a question. Let's see who's first here. Right. And if there's no question, just let me know, or you can lower your hand. Alex, your hand is up. All right. I will then go to Agnes, layer 2. Do you have a question that you'd like to ask our team? All right. It was for Alia. Hey, Agnes. Okay. Angela, any question on your end? I see your hand is also raised. All right. Just want to make sure you don't leave out anybody. Asa? All right. So I'm going through the hands that are raised. So I guess even Asa not. Bernard, we did. Catherine or Mary? I see your hand is raised. And Alex, just to respond to you, because you registered for the webinar, we will be able to send you the slides for today. And also, if anybody has a question and maybe they're unable to speak, please feel free to use the Q&A box. All right, I see Loise is back. So welcome back, Loise.
Sorry about that. Technicalities.
No worries, go right ahead. Okay.
Right. All right. Once again, I'm just sharing my screen. Just give me 9 minutes. All right. So even as I share my screen, so we were talking about proper execution and why it is important in everything in just all right, so great. I hope Lydia, please confirm you all can see my screen. Can you see my screen, Lydia? Please confirm. Or you
Yes,
can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can, Loise, we can see it.
All right, great. So lastly, I want to just speak on proper execution. Now, just to move back a bit, you have worked on yourself, you have realized that you want to take ownership, you want to challenge the status quo, you have assessed your environment, you have differentiated your assumptions from your realities, you have already mapped your opportunity, you're able to see where you come in, you're able to see what innovative idea that you can bring forth in your organization. You have built a great business case. You have identified who your decision makers are, and
Okay, I think Les is really having challenges. I do not know what the issue would be. However, what we'll do
now comes back to, and you presented, and it is in just because of poor internal exam. What? Sorry, Lydia.
We had actually lost you for almost a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No
Sorry
worries.
about that.
Just continue. It's okay. It is okay.
Right. So you want to actually realize that again, I'll just repeat, 42 of the innovations failed not because of the idea itself, but for poor internal execution. So just note that sometimes you need to, actually not sometimes, but all the times, you need to think through the execution bit of it. A lot of entrepreneurs, when you are dealing or when you're working with a lot of entrepreneurs, they get so engraved in the idea itself that they forget that they need to execute it efficiently. You know, just the idea of this thing becoming big or making a difference, or the idea in itself just, you know, becoming or you growing in a certain way in the organization becomes, you know, too much for you, and you forget that you actually have to execute it efficiently. So what happens for proper execution? So before execution, you have to pause and ask yourself critical questions. What potential challenges could arise? What could possibly go wrong? You know, I know it's a question that perhaps you didn't want to think through, that, you know, whatever I'm trying could possibly go wrong, but just pause and for a minute ask, in this execution, whilst I'm executing, what could go wrong, and what are some of the things that what are some of the challenges that you could potentially have as an entrepreneur? Number one, there's the resistance or the fear of change. People are used to doing something a certain way, and here you come, you are introducing something new, or you're introducing a new process, or introducing a new way of doing things, even just introducing a new way of doing maybe your weekly meetings. You know, you will get resistance. This is something that you should expect. You will get resistance from some people, and guys be like, oh, you know, we already do this and it's already working, you know. Why are you bringing in something new? Two, you have bureaucratic factors, and 60% of employees feel their companies do not innovate enough due to internal politics. Yeah, and we cannot ignore this. This is really huge. The bureaucratic factors are really huge. So you need to identify what are these factors. What are some these things in your organization? What are those bureaucratic factors that can prevent you from growing as an entrepreneur, or even the organization running as, you know, or adopting entrepreneurship in its way of work? Lastly, of course, limited resources. But again, we said you need to be you need to have perseverance, you need to be resistant, you need to, if you're told activity X cannot happen, just think about what is another way to actually do it. Again, just thinking about your customer. What is it that they want to actually achieve? And again, even as you navigate organization complexities, as I said, you need to understand internal processes, understand how everything works before you can come in and say, you know, I think we should do this. And then, you know, someone might sit and just say, yeah, we already do that in this way. That will show that you are also not familiar with whatever is going on. So you need to, you really need to understand internal processes. And if you're a business, as I heard that we have other business people here, you need to ask yourself, do my employees, do the people I work with understand the processes that we use? Do they understand the business as it is? Because these are the people who are representing you, right? Two, you need to manage internal resistance to change. And this is a huge topic. We cannot even start on it today. Change management is a huge topic on its own. How do you manage change even as you bring it? But I'll challenge you to just go and read it up yourself on change management, especially if you're introducing something new in your company or your organization. How do you manage change? And lastly, there's build support from your peers and leadership. Yeah, these are the people you're working with, these are your bosses. Just build support. And we cannot speak about all these things because entrepreneurship involves people without touching on, and I really wanted, and I'll really go fast on this last part. These are just some of the attitudes that you'll meet at work, even as you're becoming an entrepreneur. We have different kind of attitudes at work. You have the champion, who is the advocate. You know, this this person advocates for new ideas. They drive change. You know, and at the place. They motivate others, and they are the ones to even open. So this is a person who proactively supports new projects, mobilizes resources, and encourages risk-taking. So this person is out there. This person could potentially even be an entrepreneur, right? You also have a supporter or a follower, yeah. They encourage, they assist the organization, a supporter. What are some of their key behaviors? They offer help, they provide resources, they collaborate, they will come and ask, what can I help with? Or once you request them for something, they're very open to just supporting you in that. Then we have the blocker. Who is a blocker? A blocker is one person who is one who resists change or new initiatives. Yeah, probably out of fear. They're like, okay, maybe if you introduce this, it would put me out of work, or it will leave me or looking like I am not doing anything myself. So this person is the person who you, as an entrepreneur, and you're introducing something, they'll be the first to say, no, we should not do that, right? We should not partake in this. I don't think this is a good idea, right? So how do you identify this blocker? This person will raise concerns frequently. They will hesitate if they're assigned to do something that partakes the idea or the innovation that you have brought about. They will be slow in uptaking it. Yeah, they will just be slow and they will not communicate. They're just trying to make sure that everything that you guys are putting on is not working. And then you have an indifferent attitude. This person really just watches from the sideline. They have low impact. They don't hinder the progress, but they also will not contribute, to innovation or any new ideas. So they will pass on activities. They will pass on any intention or any activity that is required of them. They'll pass meeting. They'll remain passive in meetings. They'll just, wait for others to take the lead and not do anything in themselves to either progress the idea or to just block. This person is different from a blocker. They're not blocking, but they're also not helping. Yeah. And then lastly, we have the critic, or rather the skeptic. They question, yes, they will question everything. Everything you put out, they'll just have questions. They might not necessarily even or promote you, just be asking questions. They could be there are good critics and bad critics as well, or those that have neutral impact. They just want to challenge it. They just want to be seen challenging it. They want either for it to not happen or happen. So they'll just be skeptic. They'll ask critical question, which still is also an important thing. They will challenge the different assumptions. So you will all agree on something, and this person will just, raise their hand and say, why are we, doing this? I think this already works, or, so they'll just, they will question. So even as you become an entrepreneur and you are, being innovative or staying innovative in your organization, you need to recognize all these attitudes, because you need to work with people. You need to identify, is this the right person for me to work with? Is this an indifferent person? Will this person be of value in my move in this agenda or a business case? So for you to identify these attitudes, number one, you need to learn more about them and just learn the different characteristics about them. You could read up on this on the internet. I can also share this as well. And just, you need to identify this person and then know how to deal with each attitude as it comes. And so with that, I think I'll bring it to a wrap, to any question or comment, and back to you, Lydia.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Loise, for that. And yeah, apologies for the disruption. I keep on saying technology happens or tends to fail when you need it the most sometimes, but I'm sure we're able to grasp definitely most of it, and it was very helpful even for myself, just to really ask myself those kind of questions on, what employee do I want to be, and what are some of those traits? Do I have them? Sort of like just do a self-audit. So thank you for sharing that wonderful topic with us. So we are a couple of 3 minutes past time. I don't want to lock anybody out who might have a question. I know there's someone who had asked Loise so that we can get the presentation, and if not, if you can send maybe some guided reading towards that, please let us know. And when we are doing sort of like the thank you email to the attendees, we can also share that with them. So
I will share that. Yes,
all
I
right.
will share the presentation as it is, and just to say thank you to everyone for listening in, and thank you to Lydia and the Nexford team for having me on this. I am actually glad that you offer this as a course, something that we really need to look into, and once again, be the entrepreneur that you'd want in your organization or in your company. So thank you and have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Loise. All right. So Rhoda, don't worry. I see your comment. We'll definitely share it to you with the email that you actually registered for this webinar with. So, all right. We can do this for 3 minutes. I see a couple of hands that are raised. Kindly, if it's not a question, drop it. I am seeing we have Dennis Karaoke. Do you have a question? All right, I think not. I'll call out a couple of names, and then after that, we could just close off the webinar. We have Elijah. All right, and Elisha. Okay. So I think then probably the rest had raised their hands. Let me see. There is George as well. George, do you have a question? George Mbaka? Okay. I think probably the hands were raised at the time when Loise wanted to interact with the rest of the audience. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for our open day today. We really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, the team has indicated how you can get in touch with us on the chat box. Feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to support you. Joshua, I see you have a question. Allow me to allow people to drop off just time. I'd be happy to respond to you after the webinar. So thank you all, and do have